Asmongold has found himself in the hot water, getting banned on Twitch for 14 days for saying something that it could be normal for some people, but controversial for others. So Asmongold, if you guys don't know, he has 2.9 million followers on YouTube. That's just on his main channel. Clips channel is eclipsing almost 1 million. When he goes live on Twitch, he regularly has an audience of about 30,000 people. But he recently got in hot water for this clip. Now, this is the first part of the clip. And then in the second part, we're going to hear it. You can see exactly where he's going.
You're literally creating a tier list by not supporting them because there's someone else on the list? No, I'm not. I'm not supporting any of it. Absolutely not. I'm not supporting a group of people that would, kill a gay person or a trans person for existing. I'm not going to support that group of people in any context. Absolutely not. No. It's not even a question. These people would be the ones doing the genociding if they had the power.
Now, these people that he's talking about is people who practice of Islam.
They would be doing it. Their laws currently enable them to do it. If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way.
Now, some people would say, hey, this is a base take. You know, you have the Israel versus Palestine. So if you support in Palestine, you're like, yeah, great way to go, Asmon. But if you support Israel, you're like, hey, man, not everyone is like that. And I did think they did bring up some stats like the average age in Israel is like 18. And, with war, you're going to have people, innocent people of all ages getting clapped on both sides. That's why people typically come out and say, hey, in the war, or as other people may take a hard and fast stance. Not me.
If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing. And how much did they kill? As many as they can. They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways.
Now, he is just going way in, and right then and there, people are like, yo, hey, stop. Like, you're going too far. But he keeps going.
It is that simple. No, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care.
Now, some people are like, hey, that's a base take. Now, here's the thing, right? After he made that and the fallout started to ensue, he instantly apologized. Almost as quickly as he said it. He says, looking back on it, I was way too much of an a-hole about the Palestine thing. When you say Palestine thing, you low-key downplaying it, but okay. My bad. Of course, no one deserves to have their lives destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. Low-key kind of double, triple down on it, but, it is what it is. You guys deserve more than me saying stupid-ish like that. I'll do better. Well, it didn't really, that really didn't resonate too well with people because OTK almost instantly made this statement. It was literally like a domino effect. And, OTK is the largest content creation group on Twitch. You can pretty much say they kind of run Twitch, or definitely Austin. They put out a statement. A few days ago, Zach made some comments that, even in his own words, were disgusting and abhorrent. OTK denounced all forms of discrimination and violence, and that sort of behavior cannot be tolerated. Yesterday evening, we spoke to Zach, and he will be stepping away from his roles at OTK and our affiliate companies, Starforge, Mythic, and Mad Mushroom. In our conversation, Zach vehemently expressed his desire to change his life and broaden his perspective. Earlier today, he posted a video detailing his thoughts on his comments, along with the changes he's planning on making moving forward. We hope Zach remains committed to the promise he made to us, the community, and do himself in the meantime. In the meantime, OTK will continue to foster an open and inclusive work environment dedicated to producing the best live streaming content possible for our community and partners. Now, Starforge would pretty much put out a similar statement. We have spoken to Asmongold and mutually agreed to part ways. Starforge unequivocally rejects all forms of discrimination, hatred, and violence. We stand by and align ourselves with those around the world seeking to foster acceptance, unity, and dignity. Now, you have to remember, the thing with Starforge is they are partners with Charlie, which is the biggest content creation, biggest YouTuber in the commentary space. Now, Tips Out would make this long-winded statement and basically says, he talks about, his background, because Tips Out is a practicing Muslim and practicing Islam. Maybe I misspoke. I don't know about it, but his parents came over here. They're from Syrian immigrants from Damascus, and they came to the U.S. in the 70s, 80s, at a time when the likes of Hafiz and Rifat al-Assad were massacring tens of thousands of their own people in Hamas. So Tips Out does not support what Asmongold said as well, and they're holding him accountable as much as possible. Pretty much everyone is. But here is his apology video, which is going viral at the moment. Let's react.
I'm going to try and structure this video into two parts, where the first part is going to be me talking about the Twitch suspension. Second part is going to be talking about myself. And the first thing I want to start off with is something that I know it might sound a little bit insincere because of how ridiculous this is, but I really mean it. And if you listen to the whole video, I hope you can see why. Everybody who's come and spoken out and talked to me and said stuff about me, aside from the, oh, you should kill yourself or something like that, I want to say that I really appreciate you. And I think this has been something that's a long time coming. And I actually think that this is something that not only I deserved, but it's also something that I needed. And I want to talk about what the reason for that is, but I want to start off and just make sure that that's actually very clear. So a couple of days ago, I made some comments about Palestine and also about Hamas and, some just general, basically opinions that were trivializing the genocide that's happening there. And I don't really want to mince words or try to oh, I wasn't justifying or, promoting it. I said something about it that was disgusting. I said that I didn't care about innocent people getting killed by another force, by anything. And
that's a truthful statement.
I think that that's a horrible, disgusting, mean-spirited thing to say. And I don't necessarily think that it was really racist, really. But when I'm using language like...
Well, here's the thing, right? It may not be quote-unquote racist like your typical I hate black people, but it's called prejudice. So he has a prejudice, you can say, against Muslim people who practice Islam.
Palestinians or the people there, rather than what my real language was. I've always been very outspoken and very against religious extremism, and I still am. I think that any religion and any way of thinking that's going to cause you to put other people in kind of positions below you as gay people, women, people with disabilities, anything like that, I think that that's a really bad position to have, and I really don't like that.
See, here's the thing, right? And I do have Muslim people in my family, friends, but those are the anti-Muslim talking points. The gay, they hate gays, or they put women down, things like that. But that's not indicative of all people who practice Islam.
And I think that my problem and my fault here was that I was making a criticism of religious extremism, and I made no effort. And I feel like almost, I've rewatched the clip, right? Or a number of the clips. And it's like I've almost made an effort not to draw a distinction between the two things. I think that a lot of us here can easily say that we're against religious extremism. And I am. But whenever I categorize everybody in the area as this, like, group, then I'm the asshole. And I was the asshole. I had a lot of you guys tell me that. And it's taken me, this is what's so crazy about it, is that I think this has been going on now for like 2 years. I think that I've been slowly devolving into the most mean-spirited, like, I don't really even know what the word is for it. Just like the most mean-spirited, rude, like nasty, like just callous, psychopathic version of myself. I think that I've been devolving into this. And a lot of my friends have told me this. My dad has told me this. He said, you've got to chill out. You've got to calm down. I've been like, oh, that old man doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, the thing is, his chat is a 100% echo chamber. And if you try to hold him accountable while he's streaming, you will get blocked and banned. And when you get banned by him, you can't see the chat. And if he does you a hard ban, you won't be able to watch his content on Twitch at all. So when you have this echo chamber, so I always tell people the dangers of creating an echo chamber, and then you look at his main channel and that's just gobbling up millions of views every day, it kind of gives you a false sense of validation that, hey, I'm right. Look at my like ratio. I mean, even on this video, I'm pretty sure it's pretty positive. 174K to 18K. That's a good ratio. But this is how you can get out of line.
And I finally had some level of accountability for that. And thank God. I look back at some of the things that I've said and done over the past 2 years, and I don't think that I've been wrong about everything, obviously, right? But there have been ways that I've communicated and ways that I've acted that are indefensible. And I think looking back on it, it's just disgusting. And it's something that when you get lost in the sauce and you get fixated around like listening and reading feedback and, just getting hyper fixated, this is like your entire life, you lose a perspective on reality and you lose a perspective on the world. And I think that perspective was brought into perspective yesterday and the day before when I was making comments like this. And I feel so stupid. It's crazy. So I'm getting all these people making negative comments toward me. Everybody is telling me like, oh, go kill yourself. I hate you. Everything like this. Do you know who reached out to me? And they wanted to talk and have a conversation and see if I was okay. It's people that were Islamic and people that had fucking family in Palestine. And how humiliating is that?
I mean, he always comes off a little bit smug to me. And literally, how do you punish a millionaire? Like at the end of the day, he's still gonna have millions, even though he may not be as vocal in the company or as front of the company. What is the real consequence? 14 days off of Twitch. How much is that going to hurt him?
How absolutely humiliating is that? And these were the people I was trying to say were bad. And I feel like such a fucking stupid asshole. I really do. I've always been I guess like I've always been kind of like an atheist. And even as a young kid, I was raised Roman Catholic and I was always very defiant towards it. And I've always had a negative opinion of religion, and I've also had a negative opinion of religious cultures. And I think that opinion is definitely shaped by the media that I've created, and the media I've created for myself, and then also just the media that exists, the media that I've chosen to seek out as well. And I think that media has allowed me to have certain predispositions and certain biases that the truth is that don't have any sort of relation to what my own real life has been experienced, or my own real life experience has been, excuse me. And so I've been spending a lot of time talking to those people, and I've seen people like fans of mine, like I had viewers messaging me on Discord, like, why are you saying this? Like, do you want to talk? Do you want to like, I'm willing to talk to you, and like, let's try to work this out, right? We love you. And I
think everyone in the community was trying to talk to him, but hey, what do? The damage is already done, and things like this is irreversible. I mean, he won't be canceled for it, but maybe this might be a wake-up call. But the issue with his ban shows Twitch inconsistency, which we'll touch on towards the end of the video.
I scrolled up on their messages, And these are people that messaged me in like 2016, 2017, 2018, like, I love your content, I love your stream, I love you, right? And now they get to hear this from me, and I just feel like such a stupid, belligerent fucking asshole. I really do, and I'm sorry. I really am. I think that it's extremely fair to criticize religious extremism, and I think that it's extremely unfair to categorize everybody in part of that group as religious extremists. I think it is, and I'm really sorry for that. I've just been a fucking dick. And it's weird because yesterday I woke up and I didn't know if I was going to get suspended or not, and I planned on streaming and everything, and I actually got a text message from one of my mods. They said, "Oh, I heard about the suspension, I'm sorry." And I was like, I remember I was like driving, and like, you know, you'd think that like your heart rate would go up, but if anything, I felt more relaxed. I felt like finally I have a moment to just take a step back and breathe and think for myself and just stop, just like get out of my own head.
If he wouldn't have got suspended, I don't think he would have been just streaming like normal. It would just validated that, hey, everything is fine. And sometimes what happens with these streamers when they have these big mess ups like this, they delete the stream, it gets erased. Sometimes they might copyright people like myself reacting to it. But to be fair to Asmongold and his team, I've used a lot of his content. He ain't never sent nothing my way.
And I spent a long time like just writing basically a list of all of these things that like I think that I should be doing with my life. And this is going to be kind of the second part, by the way, of the video. Comments that I made were pretty much about religious extremism. I think it's bad, but I've categorized a lot of people in that way that was unfair. It's wrong for me to have done that. I said something that was bad. I should not have said that. I should have chosen my words more carefully. I didn't do that. I doubled down on it. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry.
Now, you would expect a good apology from this guy because he has ripped people apart for apologizing, but he's, as much as I may disagree with him on how he does things and things he comments on and things he chooses not to comment on, especially like the Rich Campbell case, which is like, hey, you outed him for saying you stood with victims, and it turns out, hey, he's suing the victim for defamation. Things like that.
That's pretty much, I was a fucking asshole. I was a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. And so, actually, I do know what else to say. I don't like making apologies because I think words don't matter. But I do think changed actions and changed behaviors do. And so you can take my apology as hopefully better content. And if you're not seeing that, I want you to hold me accountable.
All right, here's the thing. If you try to hold him accountable in his chat, will you get banned? You can't hold him accountable on LSF because LSF is pretty much a OTK subreddit. But how do you hold him accountable?
Hopefully this time I won't be stupid enough to ignore it. Mouth is pretty dry. Anyway, so the second part about this is that I want to talk a little bit about like my life, my personal life, etc., and kind of some of the points that I think that I've kind of gone through to get here. So the main thing is that for the past, like, I would say like 10 years or so, if you look at my life like this, I would have said 10 years ago or maybe 8 years ago, streaming was like this, right? YouTube was like this. And now I would say that my life and streaming are basically the exact same size. And what I mean by that is that streaming is my entire life. Doing this is my entire existence. And I think that the process of that has been extremely unhealthy for me. And I think that what it's done is that it's allowed me to become such a one-dimensional person that I'm not even a person anymore. It's like I'm Dark Souls, I'm going hollow or something. And I think about
now, look, here's the thing with the Dark Souls reference. I don't know if you guys play Dark Souls or anything like that, but when you go hollow, you lose your sense of humanity. You essentially don't have a soul. So people were low-key giving them shit for making a video game reference, but sometimes when you play video games and all you do is talk about games, you talk in the language that your audience that's going to connect to. So if he says he's going hollow, like in Dark Souls, he's lost his humanity, more than likely. And he could have, because like I said, he's been in an echo chamber for 2 years, racking up millions of views. Who's going to check him? Who's going to check him in the company other than Tips Out? And would they have checked him if it wasn't probably hurting the bottom line? Because people start distancing themselves saying, hey, I don't want to be a part of Starforge. Now, the Starforge situation is interesting. Let me just pause this for a second, because here's the thing. It's double-sided, right? And what I mean by that is, you see this statement right here. Hey, we don't support Asmongold's statements. What about the people who do? What about the people who do feel the same way Asmongold, who use Starforge? They were like, well, since you're punishing Asmongold, you have inadvertently took a stance in the war, a stance against mine. So I will no longer be using Starforge products. The same was said for OTK. I'm not going to go through all the tweets out there, but there are some tweets out there where people are like, nah, I'm not rocking with Starforge because they punish Asmongold.
Person that I'm not even a person anymore. It's like I'm in Dark Souls, I'm going hollow or something. And I think about like all of the, you know, like I made a list of all of the things that I'm not doing in my life that I should be doing. And I was writing it down and I'm like, you know, fucking like, I'm just going and going. I'm like, oh my God, I think it'd be shorter if I transcribed the Bible. Like, this is insane. Like, I'm like, whenever I have everything written down line for line, it's like, oh my God, I'm ruining my life. I've been existing and I want to, at a certain point, actually try to live my life. And I don't think that I've been doing that. And so what am I going to do? How am I going to do that differently? And what does that mean for my stream, etc.? I think that I'm going to cut down a little bit on streaming quite as much. And I think I'm also going to cut down. This is going to sound like, I hope I can say this in the right way. I feel like the main times that I laugh on my stream nowadays are when I'm laughing at other people. And I look back on videos that I did from 2020, 2016, and 17, and yeah, I've always been an asshole, but holy shit, I've been way more of an asshole. It's insane. And it's a night and day difference. And I've had, again, everybody in the world telling me this, including my own dad, and I've just ignored them. And finally, it's like, you know what? Maybe I'm an asshole. Maybe this is too far. Maybe I need a course correction, which is why I think that like getting suspended in this, I hope that it's one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
It's essentially a 14-day vacation for him. You know, you're talking to a guy who streams every day for like 18 hours.
And I don't know whether that's going to be true, but I'm going to try to do things differently and make sure to live up to that reality. And so what are those things that I'm going to be doing differently? The first thing is that I think I'm going to try. I've been very much trying to like maintain a consistent schedule with my stream, and I will continue to do that. I want to get up and go to bed at relatively the same time. I want to live a normal life. Bro. And also I want to spend maybe...
You guys don't know how going to bed at a set time every day is critical. I wish I could. I can't. A
little bit less time streaming, and I want to spend more time creating my own videos and doing my own things and spending time on things that I really enjoy, and basically just like expanding my existence as a person. I think that ever since I started like OTK and I got involved with that, and then we had like other Starforge and like Mad Mushroom and Mythic and everything, like honestly, it's been too much for me to handle. It's been completely too much for me to handle, and I've been losing my mind dealing with it, and I try to hide it the best I can because, you know, I try to do the best, right? I try to do my best. You know, it doesn't matter how hard it gets. You just keep going. You just keep going. It doesn't matter. And eventually it does matter. And I think that I've negatively affected a lot of them. And I also don't want to talk about that just in the context of just like this recent controversy. I want to talk about this in the context of the last 2 years. I think that
But he been on a tear. I mean, I don't think any of y'all watch Asmongold. Do y'all? If you watch Asmongold, put a 1 in the chat.
I haven't really been able to fulfill my responsibilities as a leader in a lot of cases to them. And I think that I've let a lot of people down. And there have been things that I've done that are positive as well. But I think that one thing this thing has taught me, this whole situation has taught me, it's made me realize, is that I need to get myself in check. I need to get my mind under control. I need to like just get my life I need to fix my fucking life. Like it's insane. Like I think about it and it's in shambles. Everything about my life is basically fucked, and I'm gonna take a step back.
Bro, I just can't look, man. I like looked up this guy's net worth. I was like, well, how much is this ninja worth? I think they put him at like 2 million or something back in 2022. He's worth way more than 2 to 5 million, way more. But I don't think his true number will be out there because he's not reporting shit to Forbes. Like, what's her name? I forget her name. Amaranth.
From all of that, I'm going to step away from my leadership position in OTK and Starforge and everything.
It's like the Papa John's. Like, oh, I said the N word. All right, I'm no longer on the board, but I'm still getting money.
I want to, and they're fine with that. They respect that, and I want to do this. And I want to do this not only for them, but mainly for myself, so I can be a better version of myself for everyone. And I want to apologize to all you guys, my viewers, that I don't think I've lived up to that. I think that I can be a lot better than what I am right now. And I don't even think that I've been putting in half the effort that I should be in the way that I should be. And I'm sorry. And so my plan is to, when I get unbanned, I'll keep streaming regularly, right? And I want to focus more on trying to do things that are fun trying to laugh more with people rather than at people. I'll still laugh at people every once in a while.
No, the problem is he's become one of the top commentary channels on YouTube. And like I said, he's been validated. So when you start covering all these controversial topics and giving an opinion, which is nice, you taking a stance. It comes with this. It just comes with the territory. You took a stance, and that may be how he truly feels. But for business purposes, he cannot make that feeling known.
Okay, like let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But it's about a focus, and it's about a tone. I listen to my tone in the clip, and I just sound like such a piece of shit. Really, at the end of the day, I sound like a piece of shit. I sound like a terrible person. And it's just so mean-spirited and callous and just mean.
But that's been his tone for so long, guys. Like, I watch a lot of him. I'm not gonna lie, I watch a lot of his takes. But that's been that smugness has been his tone for a while.
And I don't want to be that person anymore. And I've spent a long time growing up. The time I did, I was an r/atheism enjoyer. I have a very negative opinion of a lot of religions. I've had the experience firsthand of the negative effects of Christianity and the way that I view that. And I've always read a lot of very bad things about Islam, and I've made a lot of criticisms of it. I've talked to a lot of people about it. I've heard a lot about it, and I've been like watching things about it, and I've been like hearing people telling me this is the way it is, but I've never seen it. And I actually think that after all this, I think towards the end of next year, I think I'd like to visit the Middle East and see it for myself.
Remember, guys, first off, he just said he wanted to see the Middle East. Remember, what's my rule? Never apologize. Here's the reason why you never apologize. One, it's going to be used against you, but two, you're never going to make people happy, because now people are like, well, you just waffled. Like the people who are like, hey, I'm anti Hamas are like, you just waffled. Which take is it? Now that could be his true feelings about people who practice in Islam in regards to genocide. That could be his true feelings, but he is too big to let this opinion out there. And one, he is too big not to apologize. He has to say something. He has to disavow his actions, because it could have long-lasting ramifications, not only for him, but for the company he's a part of. And if people stop doing business with the company he's a part of, he won't be impacted, but maybe the people who work under him might be. So, when you become this big figure online, you can't just think about, well, look, I'll be okay, because other people's mortgages and, kids are dependent on that person to bring home money from working for Asmongold.
Things about it, and I've been like hearing people telling me this is the way it is, but I've never seen it. And I actually think that after all this, I think towards the end of next year, I think I'd like to visit the Middle East and see it for myself.
Bruh, now this is PR. This is where it's like, okay, man, you apologize, you disavow, that's great. But when you say, hey, I want to go there to see it for myself, one, like I said, this made national news. Two, people may not be so receptive to your apology to show you kindness and understanding, and maybe the extremists that you've been so critical of may want to make an example out of you.
I want to see it for a historical perspective, right? I would love to go to Istanbul in Turkey. There's no ulterior motive there at all. But it's not just that. I'd love to visit places like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, any of the other places. I mean, the truth is that, and this is the worst thing about what I said, some of the places I would want to visit, I might not be able to, because of the way that they're like just the internal strife, the actual literal wars that are going on, people being literally killed there, and I might not be able to do that. But I want to do it, and I want to see it for myself, because I don't like believing what people tell me.
But he believed this shit for like 2 years or even longer. But hey, maybe it's a new leaf, man. Maybe it's a new leaf. But I don't think going to the places you've been so critical of is the answer.
I think that when I do, I end up being a fool. And I want to see it. I want to see it for myself, and I want to experience it. And I want to live my life. And I'm going to try to clean up part of my house. I'm going to try to do this. And I'm not going to hire a cleaner. As I said, I was raised Roman Catholic. I view this as a penance.
Now, here's the thing, right? Dust brought up a great point. They'll kidnap you there. And it was recently a YouTuber who went to, I think, like the Philippines or something, got married, got kidnapped.
And I think I need to do this for myself. I need to take accountability for bad things that I've done and for letting my life get this out of control. And I don't need a get out of jail free card. So I need to do that for myself and for my own closure as well. And I think also I want to live for the the idiots out there that, you know, they're you know, like looking to me to be a role model, right? Oh, not a good idea. But there are people that will see that and they'll think maybe to themselves, maybe I should do the same thing. And if I can do that for one person, well, I've already done it for myself. I've already done a good thing, and so it could only get better. And so that's what my plan is. I'm going to try to like rethink my life. I have had a lot of people reach out to me, people I would have never expected to reach out to me in ways that I never expected. And I understand that, you know, like I'm still very critical about, you know, religious fundamentalism, right? But when you paint with such a broad brush that you just include an entire group of people, you're just being you're being a piece of shit.
Now, how many people think he's going to do this again? How many people think he's going to do this again?
It's like people said it was racist. I didn't mean it as racist, but if you listen to what I
It's prejudice.
said, it's easy that you could assume that. So easy. And so I'm just a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking moron. I've been an asshole. I think that I've devolved for the last 2 years. I think that I've negatively affected other people too, in ways that I hate. I don't even hate to say this. Like I think I need to say this. I need to say it more. I've negatively affected people in ways that I regret. I think whenever I go back live again, I'll probably talk about that more. And, you know, like there's some just different people I kind of want to apologize to and, you know, take accountability for things that I've said and done that have negatively affected other people.
I mean, you gotta have that conversation with Tips Out, and someone on Twitch is right. Yeah, no one changes in less than 24 hours.
In ways that were unfair and wrong. And that's what my plan is. That's about it. I want to say that I hope that now, after you've heard what I have to say, that a lot of you all can see kind of why I'm saying that I appreciate this. I really think that this is something I needed, and I hope that this is the next part of the rest of my life. And I want you guys to hold me accountable to that. So if I'm being a fucking asshole again, if I'm being mean, if I'm just being callous, acting like a psychopath, just treating people awfully outside of a well raid when they get killed by fire, but really laughing at
now when he says stuff like that, it cheapens the apology. It cheapens it a little bit.
people's misfortune, try to say, man, just chill the fuck out, stop it. Just stop. And I'm gonna do my best to listen. I spent 2 years ignoring it, and look where it got me. This is not even the tip of the iceberg of the problems in my life. And I want to thank everybody for making me aware that that's the case. And hopefully I can avoid the iceberg, right? And so I want to say...
Now we know he got the money, man. We know he got the money. Now he's just rubbing it in a little bit.
That's pretty much about all I've got. I'm sorry for a lot of people I let down, not just with comments like this, but also just with the way I've been doing things in general. I think that you guys deserve a much better version of me than what you've been getting. And I hope that I can live up to that in the future. And I don't even want to think about it in the future, right? As soon as I get unbanned, the best apology is better content, change behavior. And that's what I hope to do. So yeah, anyway, guys, I'm just going to focus on myself for a while, try to improve my own life. And there's a lot of things I think, again, I'll probably talk about more whenever I go live again that are like more kind of, just like kind of in the weeds, like personal stuff. But overall, that's the big picture. That's where I'm at. And so anyway, that's about all I've got. And I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to try to just take this time off to, really kind of fix my shit. So yeah, anyway, guys, that's about it. I'll see you later. Bye.
All right. What do you think of that? Now, before we just get him off the hook,
Asmongold step away from.
what do you guys think? Should he step away? Is that a big W, big L? I mean, I don't know. In the end, I think he'll be fine. I don't think it's going to be any real fallout. Cancel culture is pretty much done. You can't cancel anyone. Look at Dr. Disrespect. He's still streaming at like 25,000, and he may be monetized back in about 7 days. So maybe he wanted to step away. Maybe he's tired of streaming. So he, kept pushing the envelope, and he finally pushed it too far for Twitch to actually make a reaction. But Twitch is inconsistent. Twitch is inconsistent, as other people are calling for Hassan to be banned, but we know that's not going to happen. For one, having a pirate on and maybe taking the complete opposite stance that Asmongold took. But let me know what you guys think of this, his comments, the fallouts, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.